No, but that's the point I was about to make. She can literally get the house. She doesn't have to live in it now, because I guess she doesn't have a place to live. But you can literally make this house, invest in it as an asset, and literally rent it out. And the rent, that's what landlords do. The rent that you're paying is to pay off the mortgage for the property. So,
This is where like that I don't have enough people like you.
That's sad, man.
And they always busy.
They always what?
They always busy. Person that can have conversation like this with me are always busy.
But usually they're busy because, we're trying to build our lives. So. Oh, good grief. Yeah. Bro, I'm this guy that could be. What's that? I'm the third now, right? I'll be the third person we can have this conversation with?
Yeah, you're the third person.
Okay.
What was number 3 on the list?
My favorite, Jamaica's economy is prosperous.
Oh boy.
Wait. I actually have good things to say about this one.
Okay, keep going.
But I'm a person that likes money.
We all know this.
We all know this. When I was younger, I wanted to go into politics to benefit Jamaica, and then I realized that politics alone would not benefit Jamaica. The economic side would benefit Jamaica more.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been watching Jamaica economics for the last 10 years, right?
It's economy through where exactly? Huh? You said been watching economy, but like which avenues have you been viewing it from? Like the stock market?
The stock market. I've also been watching the gross domestic product.
Mm-hmm.
I also been watching the unemployment rate. I've been watching
you're watching inflation rate too, right?
Yes, inflation rate.
Okay.
Funny enough, it's actually a bit stable.
It's steady now, yeah.
It's fluctuated within the 2010 to 13 period.
Mm-hmm.
But it's stable right now. Right? Now, what I'm seeing is that Jamaica, though it's still slow, has increased in growth within the last 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
2016,
I think it was 2016. Wait. Okay, continue.
Alright, so what happened? It dipped last year. The stock market in Jamaica, economy overall dipped by 20% last year. So by the end of the year, we're coming out of it. Jamaica's growth has been one of the strongest within the Caribbean, has been actually one of the strongest in the world. Not saying that Jamaica has a good economy overall, but our growth rate overall has been very strong and very stable for the past 5 to 6 years. Now, unemployment has decreased, so I don't like the fact that one of the reasons why it decreased because of the BPO sector of things in Jamaica. BPO is a good sector if you want to give people jobs in a hurry. It's not really a stabilizing factor.
Stabilizing as in how? What do you mean?
So what happens is that you have a high turnover rate in BPO sector, right?
Mm-hmm.
These call centers are things that deal with customers. A person might go there, only spend like 6 months to a year there. That's not really a strong turnover rate. A good rate of turnover is like person leaving the company every 5 years. Right? You go in a company, you steady, you work, you develop, you pay taxes, and move forward.
Mm-hmm.
5 years in a different sector. Right? The only good thing about it is that those persons that turn over in a certain company, they generally tend to go into a different company. And then different BPO companies shortly after. Now, again, that's not bad. They have a job, but you have to understand that there's a learning curve in it. A person that's in a company that's been there for 5 years is a lot more valuable than a person that's only within that company for 6 months to a year. And don't forget there's a learning curve. It doesn't matter how good you are at a job, or how good you are at a previous job.
Mm-hmm.
When you come to a new company, there's always a new culture and a different work style to adapt comfortable with the job. So they will only have like 9 to 8 months of actual productive growth within that company. And that's not including if they take a next month, if the last month they're looking for a new job.
That's another problem too, Because when you think about the fact that there's not much career-wise that you can get from a BPO, because not everybody's going to be a supervisor, one. And when you leave, your call center skills, where is that going to... Well, it's still customer service training, which you can put in other avenues, but it's because something like that is so high density, once you leave that market, it's going to be hard for you to place yourself properly in another environment. Because again, the learning curve and because of availability of the job that would have already been limited in the first place. So I see your point.
Exactly. And then these person, they don't have much
CXC minimums, man.
They don't have much for, because if you ask for better pay or better work conditions, there's 100 people that they want a job.
You're expendable.
Exactly.
Oh boy.
So even though BPOs have given persons that may not have gotten a job, or gotten a lower quality job, active work, which the government can then tax, which benefits the society overall, the fact that persons are not staying in those jobs for a long period of time is an issue to be worried about. But for understand it, for our economy to be successful, we have to have a stable, predictable growth. And BPOs do not present that. Overall,
are people leaving the jobs or are they getting fired?
Mostly they're leaving.
A lot of them are leaving, but a good amount of them get fired.
Well, all right. Let me speak on my experience, because I know, funny enough, a handful of people who work from BPOs, from Sutherland straight down to even Conduit. Majority of these persons, when you get to realize that they're either in between training, so they have at the highest somewhere between maybe 60 or CAPE. But once they've finished, like for example, those of us who were at U at the time, Sutherland was would have been the call center area for the person who wants a part-time job. Basically, once you finish a degree or once you get enough money and you stabilize, there's no need for you to do that anymore. That's why I said long-term wise, it's not a good career choice per se. And one of the reasons why we have such a booming BPO sector is that it's basically very cheap labor. It is very, very cheap labor that a lot of countries in an English-speaking country, that investors come to us, because most of the owners for BPOs are Latin American, European countries, Indians. So these are the persons who are targeting us, who are very fluent and have English as our first language, and we can easily catch on. And also because of our great IT infrastructure, because whether you want to admit it or not, Jamaica does have a very impressive IT sector. We do. So that is one of the main selling points as to why we can even afford. I mean, even last year when persons made the change from work from home, it was a lot easier for us. Because again, as bad as Flow and even did this one when they fought this now, they actually are pretty good compared to other countries. Not gonna lie. Still shitty customer service, but they actually have a good infrastructure. Which is why it probably annoys me that they fall so short in certain aspects. But when you look at it again with the BPOs, I realized from my experience, a lot of people get really comfortable, because especially those who are there for I know people who've been there for 2-3 years, and they're comfortable because they're making money. So these are persons who either stopped gaining their degrees or stopped their qualifications altogether. So that minimum requirement is still there, because you don't need a degree or anything. You just need basic math and English, and that's it.
You don't need math and English to be a plumber.
Right, and yeah. No, the reason. No. Right, but it's not a. Yeah, man, those would be more stable jobs. And the problem that I have personally is that because those are the minimum requirements. I get it that a lot of people can't or don't see the necessity or can't afford to advance themselves academically. But what it causes now is that you have a workforce that is just at bare minimum just able to communicate what is necessary as relates to customer service. So, and I'm not saying a person who don't have CXCs are higher thinkers. That's not the point. But for those of us who actually went to university, you can appreciate the fact that because of that surrounding and because of that influx of knowledge and the time you're given to literally suck it all in, you gain a certain perspective and you realize that you see things a lot differently. Because even at my workplace, for example, I'm literally a handful of persons who has a degree, and all the other persons minimum CXCs. Literally, some people have no CXCs, and you get to see the level of reasoning, the level of understanding, and the level of know-how as it relates to the education levels. Again, it's not going to be constantly across the board, but you do notice it. And it kind of stems to the point that I was saying before that our mindset needs to change. And once people start making whole heap of money, then get comfortable. And you should be comfortable. If you can progress, you can make better. You should do better. I think our Jamaican people would be better off. We should be better off and think about advancing ourselves. Because I said earlier, our IT infrastructure is amazing. And it just annoys me that we still outsource that help from other countries. I don't know.
Right now, I'm much closer with achieving success, financial success. After success overall, than most of them ever will be. I win for the girl I can't get. I'm married to her now. I win for the job with a high figure. I'm happy with that. I'm trying to build a company.
Mm-hmm.
That is close. It's not 100% there, but that's close. I win for the secure house. I know I can see comfortable at night time.
Mm-hmm.
The time will pass either way. They can either use the time doing nothing or use the time to achieve something.
Yeah.
And trust me, where you are right now, that is your starting block. The worst that can happen is that you end up right where you are. That means you try do something. If you fail, you can always at least I tried.
It's the same way how I talked to a young lady, I think it was last month, and there are these new NHE housing projects that were, when I said these things were cheap, man, but these are good projects, you know. We're talking 7-8 million, and I'm telling her you can go and buy it, you know. What they don't understand, you know, and I saw this for myself when I told her that you literally have NHE contribution. You're literally in a position where you can afford to pay even say $20,000-$30,000 for the next 30 years. So she's telling me that you've got for her to build her own. I said, well, maybe not, because unless you're literally gonna watch the persons who are gonna build your house every day, they're gonna stretch out your money, and they're gonna waste your time. And it's a lot better for you to just. Here's the thing about money that people don't understand. Money is gonna change value over time. It has to. It just has to. You just need to understand that you can literally buy the same thing, but you can either save the money to get that thing, or you can take a loan and piece by piece collect ownership of that thing. Because if she just took her time to pay her mortgage, again, she can, as she gets further in her life, in her career, she's going to get more money, which means she can contribute more to her mortgage. So she can actually clean it out even earlier. The point is, once she takes that loan, she has ownership of that house now. The time she's going to spend to build the same exact house is going to take her years. So even if you...
Technically, she doesn't have ownership of the whole. The place has ownership of the whole. I'm
I know.
But I don't agree with you fully. Taking loans to buy anything. Houses and mortgages are the only exception, but the full issue with it. Right?
No, I understand why you have a problem with loans.
Your point of view, I understand. Right? It's better to be prefer to buy a home buy the house and pay it off liquidity because of the inflation that money and houses. Let me just explain. If you don't mind me taking over and listening.
No, go ahead.
Buying a house for 7 million, right? And paying back interest for it, so you're paying back 7.5 million, right?
Okay.
You have that 7.5 million. Just
Hypothetically. Hypothetically. 7.5 million. Oh, God. Continue.
For a person that loan, it can be 30 million. 7 million, and you're paying back 7.5, right?
Yeah.
You only have to pay back that 7.5 million to get that. What, is that 2-bedroom home?
Well, the 7 million is a 2-bedroom. The other one is a studio.
Okay, so 2-bedroom. By the time to save our money to build that thing, the same home would take our like what? Say 5 years down the line.
Remember, it would appreciate over time, so it's not an $8 million house anymore.
I know.
Okay, continue.
Say like 5 years after saving, right?
Yeah, let's call it that.
That house would cost $9 million. And her money would be worth less.
The lovely thing about inflation. Continue.
Exactly. But if he took the loan and paid off little, say he managed to take the loan and managed to pay off half five, right? And then something how much he needs to sell it at the $9 million point. What would happen is that after she sell it for $9 million, the government take the 3.5 million to $7 million. She has it on herself. So she needs $2 million.
No, but that's the point I was about to make. She can literally get the house. She doesn't have to live in it now, because I guess she doesn't have a place to live. But you can literally make this house, invest in it as an asset, and literally rent it out. And the rent, that's what landlords do. The rent that you're paying is to pay off the mortgage for the property. So,
this is why I like that to you. I don't have enough people like you.
That's sad, man.
And they always busy.
They always what?
They always busy. Person that can have conversation like this with me are always busy.
But usually they're busy because, we're trying to build our lives. So. Oh, good grief. Yeah. Bro, I'm this guy that could be. What's that? I'm the third now, right? I'll be the third person we can have this conversation with?
Yes, you're the third person.
Okay. Dead quiet. Anyway, to finish off my point before I forget it completely, I think I mentioned this even in our very first episode about back in the day when $20 was like enough money. Don't worry, we soon go on to the Gold 4, so you can jump in on that, because I think you'll actually like that one. But yeah, just to finish off my point real quick. As I said, I think in like the first episode, or probably even the second one too, where we used $20 when it was note money, when it was a lot of money back in the day. If y'all remember that?
Yeah.
Right. So it's the same thing as Leo says, that would be ideal for her to basically use the house to actually help her make some money as she goes, because the house is going to appreciate. And what people don't understand is that there's a reason why banks are easier to give you a loan for a car as against that for a piece of land or a housing project, because it is very easy for them to repurpose and resell a vehicle as against that of land. And one thing that blows my mind, even though the stigma is disappearing slowly, is that people value flashier things like the car, game consoles and some other nonsense, and basically say, I don't need to buy a piece of land yet, or I don't need to buy a house now. And then now 20, 30 years pass, you don't have nothing to call your own, you have nothing to say, alright, this is my little spot where I can. It doesn't have to be a big. a car that's 10, 12 years old that is rotting. The bumper is literally screeching on the asphalt. Yeah, man, they have a car. They definitely have a car. A dead trap. Because the car, alright, remember now, even on one of the 2 cents, I can't forget this, and it's so funny because I have a accounting virgin that made him talk about this even before the video came out, where you literally see cars as a triple theft. Where you borrow a loan, 1, at high interest. 2, you have to pay money to maintain the vehicle. And 3, this is a mistake that people think that the car is an asset. If you're talking about it commuting from one place to another, it's still in itself a bit of a liability because the value of it depreciates.
Buses do the same thing.
Public transportation, and it's cheaper.
You can buy a jump.
And you don't have to fill it up with diesel or petrol. Just give some grass. But no, yeah.
This is why we go back to one of our first conversations. We need to teach children financial literacy
and common sense.
Don't teach it math and economics. Make it cool. Financial literacy.
That's why the accountants and economics are leading, you know. I've never heard of a poor accountant or a poor economist. But yeah, that is a big problem. So you look at that and see, right, alright, I have this vehicle now. You buy it for $1 million, 1 year pass. Probably costs half the price. And I'm like, what the hell? I just bought it for $1 million.
You lose 1/3 of the price of the car that you can drive it.
You know the worst part about it though?
What's that?
Is that when you bring it to valuation, you will value it at a place, but when you actually go to an insurance company, it doesn't want to match that value, you know. They always want to go lower. That's one thing I've realized, especially here in Jamaica. You will value the vehicle for, say, 800,000. Then want to chop off 200,000 and say, no, man, this car no value 800,000, man. 600,000 value. Because the more values, the more coverage they would have to give you, and they don't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Which is another problem I have with just Jamaica society in a whole. The corruption is at so many layers. So again, cars, not good asset. Land now. The reason why lands appreciate because lands are finite. Unless we get into the business of Dubai or create islands. But that's a different discussion for another day. But the land, SpaceX, we're working on that. Leave it to Elon Musk. But you literally have a case where there is a limited amount of land. And because of that now, when you have a limited amount of anything, of course it appreciates. You literally can buy, which again blows my mind. You can literally buy a piece of land, not do anything to it, and within a year, it increases in value. Literally nothing. So I don't understand why people are like, no, I'm going to buy the car. A car that's going to bleed you dry, most likely.
Because the land is stayed here.
Nobody can take the land.
No, but the land just stayed here. They don't understand the value of it.
It blows.
They don't understand. It's like, if you give a young person more money and tell him to buy a decent food, right? They would rather buy steel and Lincoln instead of buy a decent pair of shoes and a food. Because they don't understand the value of it. And a year time, the shoes are the basket, the jeans need to change.
Boy.
Could have lasted my lifetime. But they don't understand the value of that because people are not thinking.
I'm sorry. I have ripped jeans and I had a ripped pocket. You know what I did? I took a piece of material and I took a needle and thread and I sewed that right back up. So guess what? I'm not buying a brand new jeans. That jeans is so good.
Exactly.
So I don't know what you people are on about, but this mashup, I need to throw away everything.
I need to kind of feel sorry for my kids when I'm younger because I'm going to force them to learn certain things. Like, after they come from school, they have to learn to speak a second language. They're going to have to learn a form of martial art.
You have to make them do it from early there, the language especially.
Exactly.
Their linguistic skills are primed right there.
And now I teach them financial literacy because they need to know these things. I want when I come home, I want them to say, Dad, my friend told me that she have to say, Dad, today I made an investment of 3 point this, that. I think that maybe like 8% in the next 5 years.
You know, you can make them, well, it's not a full-on project, no, but you can actually have your kids do their own, like, stock trading. Because,
I do that.
yeah, man, you can have them do that. There's another thing where basically, I think there was this group in, I think it's Sweden, where, and one of the reasons why even the Nordic countries have better financial issues than us is that they start the kids off from like basic school and way up to college. It's literally a required course. That's why the economy is so amazing, especially in Switzerland and in Sweden, because of the overall knowledge that, like, when you take financial literacy against these countries, as against even say the Americans, the quote unquote greatest country in the world, they beat them by far because they actually understand the simple financial basics. And because of that, that's why people always, let's hide our money in some Swiss banks. Let's do some tax evasion.
Oh.
Yeah, man. I'm telling you, the curriculum, there was an article that came up from like 7 months ago, I can't forget it, where it talked about one of the reasons why the education system in Sweden is so amazing is the fact that the children are being taught not just critical thinking skills, but about financial literacy skills. And because of this now, they have to make decisions. Like, say, for example, they get a certain amount of allowance for the week. It's a practice for them to keep record of what they spent. Like, if they've spent sweet, and by the end of the week, they say, all right, what did I spend too much on? What could I have? You understand? They bring about that reflective nature when it comes down to finance, that a lot of people don't understand. It's a very important part of, for example, budget making. A budget is literally something ongoing. It's not just a list of stuff that say, all right, this is for gas, this is for my utilities, and blah blah blah. It's an ongoing thing. So at the end of every period, you look at it and say, all right, did I spend too much money somewhere? Did I spend not enough money somewhere? And you bring across that reflective nature and say, all right, kids, this week we went out and had a lot of stuff to eat. What do you think we could have cut down on? Daddy, you know that you ate many hot dogs? You're like, oh, okay. So I guess I'm only gonna have one next week. Okay, no problem. Next. I mean, how many people understand how taxes work, for God's sakes? Does school teach you that? I don't think so. So yeah.
When we start our kids, we're gonna start teaching them like something. Basically, if we start teaching our kids the things we know from now, our kids going to do the world.
Alright, I think this one should be taken by the ladies because the guy should start off this conversation. Just saying.
Oh, God.
So, today's topic, I'm sorry, ladies, this is your topic, not ours.
It doesn't matter. I can introduce it.
No, say it.
Please.
Please, Danny.
I don't want to stay free bleeding, so please.
You can put you for this topic.
We want to talk today, Danny.
Okay. Remember the last time I spoke a lot because Elle was kind of occupied with something else. But all right, so today's topic is about free bleeding